Hello everyone, this is the 225 Q&A practice. We're going to start off with defense questioning, and you are going to hear gurney, profanity, Connecticut State Prison, New Haven, cell block, Sergeant York, metal, murder, conscious, Franklin Lewis, mafia, inmate, incarcerated, A-wing, Kilroy, Connor, cuffs, karate. All right. Here we go. This is going to start off, actually defense is questioning. Okay, here we go. Could you tell us the circumstances that occurred on March 10, 2010 at the Connecticut State Prison in New Haven? Yes, that morning I was working as a security guard assigned to Unit 12, cell blocks 3 and 4. Please proceed. On that particular morning, my supervisor, Sergeant York, informed us that we would be holding a surprise inspection of the A-wing. What is the A-wing? The A-wing is a closely monitored section within Connecticut State Prison. It contains maximum security cells. Why is an individual sent to the A-wing? It all depends. Some individuals are very dangerous. They have committed murder, multiple murders, and most have already been incarcerated in several other institutions. Then murders are the only prisoners in this A-wing? No, some are escape risks. They have broken out before or tried. Some are high-powered people, members of the mafia, the underworld, and other organized crime units, gang units. Did you assist in conducting a search? Yes, I did. During the search, did an incident occur at Eric Lewis's cell? Yes. What happened? We finished searching the A-wing and were returning with inmates to their cells. Inmate Lewis approached the bars and became argumentative with me regarding the removal of personal belongings from his cell. What did you remove? A small piece of metal and a sharpened pencil. What was said by inmate Lewis? He began using a great deal of profanity, trying to enrage the other prisoners. He began tearing his cell apart. What happened then? After I ordered the other inmates into their cells and locked them down, we entered inmate Lewis's cell. Did a fight ensue? Yes, inmate Lewis refused to calm down. He continued throwing things. Sergeant York struck the inmate across the face in an effort to make him stop. Inmate Lewis swung at Sergeant York and hit him in the left jaw. He fell to the ground. Then what happened? I attempted to assist Sergeant York. I grabbed inmate Lewis from the back in a chokehold. At the same time, Sergeant York was able to return to a standing position. Were you able to restrain him? Yes, Sergeant York put the handcuffs on him and he turned to exit the cell. What happened next? Inmate Lewis was being led from the cell when he performed a karate-type kick into Sergeant York's back. York fell to the ground. Were you able to control inmate Lewis? Yes, I hit him in the back of the head with my nightstick and he fell to the ground. I then called for assistance on my radio unit. Why didn't you call for assistance prior to this time if you knew of the prisoner's violent nature and past history? Everything happened so quickly, it did not cross my mind. What happened next? Guards Connor and Kilroy entered the A-wing and assisted us. Was the prisoner rendered unconscious? Yes, he appeared to be unconscious. Was Sergeant York unconscious? No, but he was in extreme pain and could barely stand up. What happened next? Guard Kilroy radioed for medical help to be sent from the prison hospital to A-wing and began to assist Sergeant York. What did Guard Connor do? He began checking cells in the A-wing to make sure that no other disturbances were about to start. Did anyone check to see whether or not inmate Lewis was breathing or conscious? No. What position was he in? Lying face down, his arms behind him, his hands in cuffs. How long did it take for medical assistance to arrive? Oh, about 10 minutes. All right. Switching transcripts. This is also going to be defense questioning. You're going to hear Minnesota, Paul Davidson, irregularities, Bureau, mines. Minneapolis, United States, Matthew Harper, energy, leakage, evacuating, emergency, explosion, St. Paul, occurrence, inspections, facility, paragraph. Let's see, I think that's about it. I'm just dating this so I know that we've already read it. All right, again, this is going to be defense questioning. Here we go. You allege in paragraph 6 of your deposition that the gas lines are maintained under the direct supervision and control of the Minnesota Department of Power. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Are these instructions for supervision and control in writing? Yes, they are. Do you remember the gentleman's name who came down and visited your facility to inspect the gas lines? Yes, Mr. Paul Davidson. Upon inspection, did Mr. Davidson note any irregularities within the installation of these gas lines? No, he did not. Were you aware of any irregularities in the gas lines? No, I was not. Please tell the court and jury, as best you can recall, what other inspections took place. None. Oh yes, just one. In other words, no one came to inspect the lines except the Minnesota Department of Power? That is correct. Did an inspector visit your facility from the United States Department of Resources? No. Did an inspector visit your facility from the Minneapolis Department of Energy? No. Did an inspector from the United States Bureau of Mines visit your facility? Yes, he did. What is his name? Matthew Harper. Did Mr. Harper suggest to you orally or in written form that there might be an underground fault at or near the placement of these gas lines? No, he did not. What was the date of Mr. Davidson's inspection? I believe, if I may refer to my notes, November 11, 2012. What was the date of Mr. Harper's visit to your facility? December 3, 2012. What was the date that your plant commenced operations at this facility? December 4, 2012. Isn't it true that you began production on November 25? No, we began receiving shipments of materials throughout November, but we did not start production until December 4. When is the first time you noticed any problems with gas leakage? On December 17, 2012. Did you call for a repairman from the Minnesota Department of Power? Yes, I did. Was he able to fix the problem? Yes, he appeared to eliminate the leakage. Please tell us what happened on January 22, 2013. I received a phone call on my cell from a line supervisor that there was a gas line that had burst near the rear exit door to the plant. What did you do? I ordered the line supervisor to begin evacuating the building. Did you call the power department? Yes, I did call the emergency service. Did you call anyone else? No, I didn't know how serious the problem was. What happened next? I alerted several of my staff and went to the front of the building in danger to wait for the repairman. At 3:42 p.m., did an explosion occur in the rear of the plant? Yes, it did. Was anyone in the building at that time? Fortunately for us, no one was in the facility at that time. How many minutes would you say had elapsed since the phone call from the line supervisor to your arrival at the front of the building? Between 3 and 4 minutes. What was the estimate of the amount of damage as submitted to the St. Paul, Minneapolis Insurance Company? Oh, approximately $257,000. Was anyone injured in this unfortunate occurrence? No, thank goodness. All right. Switching transcripts, we're going to go back to the court, the transcript that is held in court, and so we've got plaintiff and defense jumping in, and this is a dissolution of marriage, okay, and this is going to start off with plaintiff. I'm going to show you Exhibit 22. Can you please describe that for us? This is the contract, or at least a schedule of fees from the Children's World Learning Center and some of the checks that I have paid to Children's World Learning Center for babysitting my daughter before and after her kindergarten classes. How much is that again? Currently, I am paying $296 a week only because my daughter is on the year-round schedule, so they're watching her full-time, and she's in their kindergarten, but after that, it's $287 a week for the hours from 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. I mean, that's their scheduled opened hours. And so through the two-day care providers combined, you came up with $1,184 a month. Is that correct? Well, I currently pay $300 a week, but it will be less than that, $9 when she goes back to school. It will be $287 a week, and that comes out on a monthly basis in that amount. How many days has Mrs. Netter had the minor child, Katie, overnight since October? Approximately, not counting, I think it was the prior weekend, I think it was 26 days is the only time she's had her. Okay, 26 days out of that total? Yes, that is right. Over what period of time? Over the last year, from October 17 to approximately October 16 of 2011. 26 overnights? That's through. Can you briefly describe what happened, your version of the story as far as the emergency room visit that was testified to by Mrs. Netter? Yes, I had my daughter at a private woman who was watching her, and she fell approximately at 7 o'clock, between 6 and 7 o'clock, in anticipation of me coming to pick her up. I arrived at the residence approximately 7:30, and at that point she had, as a matter of fact, vomited once. And the daycare provider was actually on the phone with the doctor, and the doctor said, don't bring her in unless she vomits again. And as I was taking her out to the car, she did vomit again, and I immediately took her to the emergency ward at Moreno Valley Medical Center. Did you contact Mrs. Netter? I contacted Mrs. Netter that evening. And did you talk to her by phone? Yes, it was approximately 10:30, 11 o'clock that evening. That was after you got back from the... Yes, it was. Okay, now you, in fact, did refuse to let her know where the babysitter was for a period of time, didn't you? That is correct. What was your reason? Well, in the beginning, we had a neighbor watching her, and both of us had equal access. When that neighbor actually moved in February, approximately of 2011, I did have I think there was three other sitters that were watching her. She was not concerned with the first sitter that was watching her, but this last one where I refused was because the woman did not want any contact with Cindy. And then in August, when we were here and the matter was mediated and an agreement was made, part of that agreement said that she could pick up the child from the babysitter. Is that correct? Yes, at the mediation, I informed Cindy and I informed the mediator that my babysitter had said, in fact, that if she had any contact, she was applying for different care. She wanted foster care and didn't want any trouble with her. I object. It's hearsay. I'll sustain it. 352. Let's move on to another topic, counsel. I don't believe I have any further questions on this issue, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're sort of getting the income information on the arguments as far as the attorney fees later, but I don't think I need to elicit any testimony from Mr. Netter on that. Okay, cross-examination. Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Netter, I'm looking at your pay stub dated July 5th, 2011, and the pay stub dated 6/7 of 11. Was there anything unusual that occurred during that period of time, if you recall, regarding bonuses or pay or anything else? I don't have a copy in front of me. This was Exhibit 12. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Yes, go ahead. And you're saying as to all of them or just the two? Just the two between the month of July and, well, that is, as I testified to earlier, the first time that they allowed the overtime on a project was approximately June of that year, so there's a disparity in the income statement. I probably had an overtime project that I did, in fact, work over the weekend or something to that effect. I don't recall the exact circumstances. Okay, and that concludes our 225 Q&A practice.